Don't panic. It's entirely possible that Star Wars Rogue One isn't being destroyed by corporate meddling. Early this week, the web was flooded with rumors about reshoots for the upcoming Star Wars movie, with some claiming that Disney executives were not satisfied with the grim, warlike tone of the film and were reshooting up to 40% of it to bring it more in line with Episode 7. However, according to Entertainment Weekly, most of these rumors are bogus. While reshoots are incoming, they've been scheduled since the movie began production, which has become a standard practice for large movies. Anonymous sources told Entertainment Weekly that there have been no test screenings and the tone of the movie remains very different from Episode 7, with most of the reshoots centering on character moments, not major plot threads or battle sequences. However, while the reshoots have been described as a lot of talking in cockpits, The Hollywood Reporter has revealed that veteran stunt coordinator Simon Crane will also be involved. The same article repeats the assertion that the goal of the reshoots is to lighten the tone of the movie from a war movie to something more palatable to the broad audience. So, who are you going to believe? Now, if you really want something to get mad at Disney about, this week the company announced that the sequel to Mary Poppins has been scheduled for December of 2018. Starring Emily Blunt, Mary Poppins Returns will presumably be set in the same time period as the 1964 original and draw inspiration from P.L. Travers' original stories, which would no doubt infuriate the author were she still alive, as Travers famously disliked the original film and fought against Disney's attempts to create a sequel until her dying breath in 1996. And finally, Nintendo released some new information about the upcoming Pokemon Sun and Moon this week. The game's Legendaries this time around will be Solgaleo, a Psychic Steel type with a special ability that makes it immune to stat reduction, and over on the dark side of the moon there's Lunala, a Psychic Ghost type whose ability makes it take less damage from attacks when it has full HP. Both Pokemon also have attacks that ignore the abilities of their opponent. These Legendaries can be found in the Hawaii-themed Alola region, which appears to consist of 4 large islands that are surrounded by smaller islands and a floating stadium. Moving on to the trainers, while it's still uncertain if outfit customization is back, the new game will include a variety of skin tones to choose from. The video also introduces our professor this time around, Professor Kukui. Sorry ladies, he's taken. We also get to meet our presumptive rivals for this generation, Lily, the professor's mysterious assistant, and Hao, your new friend in Alola. More interesting is that this time around it looks like a Rotom has possessed your Pokédex, because a Pokédex with an attitude is exactly what everybody wants. Moving on to notable releases, we have Warcraft. While the movie's distributor, Universal Pictures, apparently thinks that they deserve money for my trailer examination video, let's not hold that against Legendary Pictures or Blizzard. Good or bad, with Blizzard's heavy involvement in the film, it's safe to say that Warcraft will be one of the most accurate film adaptations to a video game ever made. Next up, there's The Conjuring 2. The loosely based on reality ghost-busting adventures of Ed and Lorraine Warren continue, this time with the couple going across the pond to tackle a poltergeist with an axe to grind. And that's not the only sequel out this week, there's also Now You See Me 2. Continuing to fill its niche as Ocean's 11 with magicians, this sequel ups the ante by adding Daniel Radcliffe and Lizzie Kaplan to the already star-filled cast. Over on TV, the first season of Voltron Legendary Defenders goes live on Netflix on June 10th. Produced by DreamWorks Animation and animated by Studio Mir, best known for animating The Legend of Korra, the new series is a reboot of the 1984 original. Moving on to video games, this week sees the release of Mini Thief, a neat little game that looks like it stole the art assets from an early generation Pokemon title and used them to craft a game about burglary, robbery, and thievery. Keeping with the simplistic feel is Tanker, a top-down arcade-style game where you fight with tanks in a variety of environments, and if you get bored of them, you can use the level designer to make your own. Next up is Strangers of Sword City, a JRPG dungeon crawler that I would talk more about if the trailer actually showcased any gameplay. And if you're a glutton for punishment, there's Gain, a first-person stealth game with permadeath. Your character may be armed with the ability to slow time or freeze guards, but once you die, it's back to the beginning with you. And finally, there's SteamWorld Heist, which looks to combine worms with Angry Birds as you manually aim the shots at your steampunk army around corners and platforms. Wrapping things up, this week's CGBros video is Course of Nature from Lucy Zui and Paisley Manga. It's a cute, but kind of terrifying look at the rain cycle. And that brings us to this week's awesome video. CGP Grey may actually break your brain with this video explaining how the different hemispheres of your brain interact independently from each other.
These experiments on split brain patients are deeply unsettling because they really point in the direction of a mute, separate intelligence something living in the skull. You can even ask questions of a split brain and get disagreement on the answer. So if your brain is split, who is the you in this situation?
And that's everything for this week, so how worried are you about Rogue One? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like this video, maybe subscribe to my channel, and of course, have a great week.